Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be talking about team spirit.
Are a friendly atmosphere in the break room and phony smiles enough? Let's do team building exercises in the great outdoors and enjoy happy hour together. That will definitely build team spirit.
But what if team spirit is about more than having a good time? What if, when it's real, team spirit is what allows us to confront the bad times? So, how do you build team spirit? What's the story?
Team spirit can be broken down into 4 elements which must all be present.
First and foremost, to have team spirit, you have to have a team, and you need a reason to have a team. A team project. You can't have team spirit if the team doesn't adhere to a unifying project or principle. So the first element is adherence to a project. Teams need a unifying project to forge their identity and define their role.
But adherence to a project isn't enough. Everyone also has to invest in it and needs to embody the feeling of belonging. In other words, the team members' actions have to be coherent with respect to the project.
That's the second key word. Coherency. Everyone has to agree that the project is for the common good. There has to be respect for the thing that unites the team. Everyone puts the common good before his or her personal interests.
That's the difference between collaboration and cooperation. For there to be true team spirit, you have to move beyond collaboration to reach the level of cooperation.
Which leads us to the third element, connection. The team members need to feel connected to one another, to really know their backgrounds and personalities.
You see, happy hour is important after all.
Sure, it can play its part, but there are 2 caveats. First, any connection that only comes from moments outside of work is fake, unless it is underpinned by both adherence and coherency.
Plus, getting drinks after work doesn't necessarily forge a connection. People literally take off their masks, but they don't necessarily take off their figurative masks.
To create connection, we have to be sincerely interested in the other, in all of his or her different aspects, and that is really about respect for others, much more than it is about getting a drink.
Adherence, coherency, and connection lend real solidity, sturdy engagement that doesn't depend on arbitrary circumstances. I know what I'm here to do, and I know why and with whom. So, let's go.
That's what you're looking for when you talk about team spirit. When managers want to build team spirit, they need to aim to create the conditions for individual engagement.
Every aspect of team spirit is underpinned by the strength of the project. So, let's remind everyone that making money is not a project. It may be a goal that will help you to make a project a reality, but it can only be a means to an end.
Boosting team spirit is about have a reason to come together and a shared ambition, which must always be the focus.
And the manager has to make sure to behave coherently with respect to the project, because for coherency, as with all things, managers must set the example.
You also have to trust people, everyone on the team. Trust is the very foundation of management. To trust others, I have to know them and have a connection with them. That's also how I will establish shared rules.
To maintain team spirit long term, you have to tend to all of these elements. It's not enough to organize an event. There's no one recipe. Team spirit can only be built together, little by little, day after day, and over time.
It takes time to build true team spirit, and like a house of cards, it can collapse from the slightest breeze. So, it's important to keep an eye out and handle obstacles whenever they come up, because they certainly won't handle themselves.
Disagreements, debates, and constructive criticism are not obstacles to team spirit. It's healthy to disagree from time to time, and it's proof that the members of the team are free to express themselves. But disagreements must not be allowed to turn into conflicts, and any criticism must be constructive for the collective project and the common good, not for individual interests.
To recap, building team spirit is a continuous effort which relies on 4 elements. 1. Adherence, or the existence of a project to which everyone adheres. 2. Coherency, or the fact that everyone recognizes the project as the common good. 3. Connection. In other words, everyone behaves and interacts with the common good in mind. And 4. Solidity, or the continuation of all these qualities over time despite any obstacles. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short.
Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.